Okay. Good evening, everyone. And welcome to a nice, warm Eastern California summer evening. We got some great weather here tonight. So, and we got a great list to go over as well. In fact, I should probably bring that up. Let's go to the list that Roll made for us. This one here, then this one here. And here it is, June 2025. Okay. And I guess I can turn off my test pattern because we're actually going to be looking at a web page here. Okay, here's Roll's great list. It's a very big list, so I'm not even going to try and do this in one night. This is going to be probably at least 2 nights to get through this. Yeah, we'll do, maybe 10 or 12 tonight, and then we'll move on. So, okay, good. That's muted. Excellent. So we'll at least get through, the first half or so tonight. And I have already put the list into Stellarium, so all the blue circles are Roll's list. So we'll get through those probably in order west to east. So that we're kind of staying high in the sky as possible. So, first thing is first, let's show you what my setup is, because that's what I should do every night before I start. And here it is. Tonight I'm using my normal 8-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope with an f6 focal reducer on the back, and the camera sticking off the back here. And it's all riding around on an AM5 harmonic mount. And I've got a table set up back here that I've got a computer, and I'm talking to you here, bringing you all the images we're seeing. So that is what I am using to bring you the pictures tonight. So I think we might as well just get started. It's a big list, so let's not wait around. Starting west to east, looks like NGC 4228 is the first and most western object. So we'll start there. And it's still pretty high in the sky, which is good, because this early in the evening, pointed at the western sky, we will we'll be picking up satellites that are still picking up sunlight. Okay, not sure why you're not going all the way to it, but so let's hope we don't pick up too many satellites, but we'll see. Yeah, this is 2 degrees off. I think that's wrong. So I think we're just going to re-slew, which should go right to it this time. Okay, and that should probably be on the object. So let's start that up. This up here, that there. Okay, we'll start taking our first object, our first sub-exposure. Okay. In the meantime, let's bring up NGC 4228 on our Wikipedia. Actually, Roll has provided us really cool links to the stuff here, but I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it here. Okay, NGC 4228, and it looks like okay, 4228. Okay, he called it a different number. He gave it a different number. So I'm not sure what it is. $42.28. just says active galaxy. Well, in any event, we've clearly got it here. It's a very interesting active galaxy. Let's see what Roll's link sends us to. 4228 sends us to 5907. Oh no, that doesn't work. Duh, that's not 4228. Okay, well anyway, I'm not sure which object this is. He used a non-NGC number to clarify it, so I'm not really sure which one this is, but it is definitely a very interesting little galaxy. And I forgot to put my flats in here, so let's get that done. 323. Is that right? 323? I thought it was later than that. Okay, let's find our list here. Yep, 323 is it. That's correct. Okay, good. Alright, so now let's clear this and get it started over again. Okay. Well, while that's waiting, NGC is also a PGC or a UGC 7270. I don't remember UGC. Nope, I don't know which object it is. That's a little better. Okay. What are you doing? This browser is just popping up windows everywhere and I don't want it to. Okay. Alright. I'm about to get the second sub in here, which should cut the noise down. We do have a little bit of a breeze here tonight, so you'll probably hear that in my microphone. Satellites. Yep, there's our first satellite. I figured we'd get a few. As long as it doesn't intersect the object itself, I'll probably just leave it. UGC, HGC, ARP, A-Bell, UGC 8696, that's not it. Yeah, so I honestly don't know which object this is. He called it by a completely different name, and I don't know. He called it by a name that Stellarium apparently doesn't know. So I'm not sure which object this is. If it's an ARP or what it is. Active galaxy, I wonder if it has a distance. Nope. Stellarium doesn't even have a distance. Oh well, an inauspicious beginning to the evening, but whatever. Definitely got a lot of character though, that's for sure. See how our guiding's doing. Yeah, guiding's kind of a little wacky there on that last sub. This may be a collision of a couple of different galaxies. (4214). It's also called 4214. I don't know why it has two names, but yeah, so it's actually 4214, and Stellarium calls it a completely different number for whatever reason. Anyway, it's a dwarf-barred irregular galaxy about 10 million light years away, so pretty local to us. And the constellation Canis Venatici was discovered by William Herschel. It's both larger and brighter than the small Magellanic Cloud, and it is a starburst galaxy with lots of star-forming regions. It also has two older superstar clusters. So it's a dwarf galaxy. So it's not actually a galaxy that's being torn apart or colliding with something else. It's just a dwarf galaxy, so it's a small galaxy that is just hanging out in our vicinity, but definitely some stars and things coming off the edges. You can see the bar that's in it right there. But not really much in the way of any spiraling going on. Good evening, Eli Ron. Sorry to hear you got a bunch of clouds in New York City. Surprised you're on. You must be a night owl. You're up this late. Good evening, Mundus. Didn't see you there. Just started with our first object, which Stellarium calls NGC 4228, but everybody else calls it 4214, which is an irregular dwarf galaxy. Oh, and I should turn on background music, so you guys have something to listen to other than me. With the breeze blowing, I may have my mic muted a little more tonight than normal, but I expect the breeze should be dying off. It's very light. Actually, it's kind of nice having a breeze out here because it's not really strong enough to affect the scope much, but it's just strong enough to keep the mosquitoes off me, so that's actually kind of a blessing. And please let me know if my mic levels are okay or anything needs to be adjusted. Last time my mic was muted for the first 10 minutes and nobody could hear anything I was saying, and I had no idea until someone said, "Hey, we can't hear you." So, never be bashful about giving me feedback about the sound. I think everything is working as expected tonight, but still. NGC 4214. Some interesting colors. There's some real blue out there. Let's try adjusting the histogram. Speaking of blue, that histogram moved back out there a little bit. Great. Thanks for letting me know. interesting little core here of stars. It's sort of a little barred structure, but it's called an irregular because it doesn't really have any shape much beyond that. There's no spiral arms. It's not a sphere like an ellipsoid. So it's just kind of an irregular. Red spots out here, blue there. Probably some star formation happening in there. Pretty nice. Eli asks if it's possible to use SharpCap to do lucky imaging on deep sky. I guess that depends on your definition of lucky imaging. Lucky imaging was really coined for planetary, where you're taking extremely fast, very, very short subs in hopes that you'll just catch a really brief moment of good seeing and have some really sharp subs for just a second, even a fraction of a second. And that's kind of just lucky imaging. With DSOs, you're taking much longer exposures, and so it's I guess that can still be considered luck, but yeah, I guess you could. Well, SharpCap gives you the ability to save individual subs, so I think it's fact even in here. Raw frames saved none, so you can save. You can save everything. You can save all of your individual sub-exposures that you're stacking with, and then you can later go through and pick the best ones. And you know, and kind of put that together as post-processing if you want, I suppose. You know, pick your best subs and just use those. Throw the rest away. I suppose that's a viable option. And if that's lucky, then yeah, that'll work. All right. Well, it's a very interesting little galaxy there. So very cool. 4214. Let's move on to the next one. Next target. All right, Stellarium, where are you? There you are. All right, who's next? Where are we here? Okay, right there. So let's go over to Caldwell 32 and get that one next. Is that really what I'm looking for, or is that target something else? Yeah, I guess it did. Oh yeah, so this is the whale and pup. I actually managed to click the pup. Somehow it thinks that it's the pup, not the whale, but whatever. That works too. So let's go over to that one. Okay, why is my keyboard not working here? There we are. Okay, you're ready to go, so let's send you right on over to the whale and pup and the neighboring hockey stick galaxy, which is also interesting to do, but I don't have my field of view with this setup is not big enough to catch them both. When I've got the hyperstar in, I got more than enough to catch them both. But this one, we're far more zoomed in, so we can get some more close-ups on the galaxies. So the field of view is pretty small in this one. Okay, so this is the Whale Galaxy, 4631. GC 4631. Bard Spiral, 30 million light years away, so this one's going to be quite a bit further, but still in galactic terms, not real far. Discovered by William Herschel again in 1787. The galaxy's slightly distorted wedge shape gives it the appearance of a herring or a whale, which we'll be able to see here in just a second. And there's this little pup companion. There's some nice color and texture in this galaxy as well, which always makes it a nice target to get. Because the nearby galaxy is seen edge-on from Earth, professional astronomers observe this galaxy to better understand the gas and stars located outside the plane of the galaxy. It contains a central core with a lot of starburst and star formation. There's been lots of supernovae. The Whale Galaxy has a nearby companion, a dwarf elliptical galaxy, or the PUP. Together they're listed in the Atlas of Peculiar Galaxies, or ARP catalog, as an example of a double galaxy or a galaxy pair. So these two, while sometimes galaxies and stars too look like they're together and paired up, sometimes it's just visual. That's just how they look. It's an optical illusion. One's actually a lot further away than the other, but in this case these two are actually together. Just some nice color and texture in this though. It's a nice one to image. Yeah, I think that's what it is, Eli. They're really talking about just taking the best subs, which in planetary lucky imaging is what you have to do, because the rest of the subs are bad seeing, and you just pick the best subs out of the whole run, and it's just a matter of luck that these subs were taken at just a fraction of a second of really good sharp seeing. So you got a good sub out of it. So that's where the lucky imaging term came from. And so with DSOs, it's just picking the best of the subs and discarding the rest, which is not really lucky. It's just sort of what you do post-processing. So, but some people have decided to call that lucky imaging. But yeah, there's certainly nothing wrong with doing that. Post-processing your stuff to just cherry pick the best of the subs and put those together in your stack. It will probably result in a pretty nice image, no doubt about that. And thank you for the thumbs up. Whoever just gave me a thumbs up, I appreciate that. Always nice to get that thumbs up on the video. Not required, of course, but it's nice. So thank you. Hopefully this breeze is going to let up as the evening goes on. Was out Sunday night doing some imaging, and it started off with the first little while breezy, but then it just stopped dead, and it was just a gorgeous evening for the rest of the evening. So hoping that that's what happens here too, as the guiding is not exactly great with a breeze like this, but it's coming out okay for our purposes, I guess. Really lots of character. Lots of interesting texture and color in this one. Whoa, there you go. Fingers in wrong places here. Come on, there we go. That's what I was trying to do. And we also have another galaxy out there. A little spiral out there, looks like. Shows up in the annotation. Yep, it's a PGC. Another one up there. Cool. So it looks like a nice little spiral. Telescope is in the desert near Death Valley. Must be super dark skies. Yes, that's where I am, Mundus. I am in the I'm just about 20-25 miles southeast of the Death Valley National Park boundary. And so yeah, we have about 80 miles due west of Las Vegas. So my eastern sky, about the bottom 30 degrees or so of the eastern sky, is the Vegas light dome, but the rest of it is pretty dark and pretty nice. So yeah, I got some nice skies here. I think we'll do M64 next, and then pop over and catch 4605, or we'll do Caldwell first and then come back to this one. Trying to knock these guys out. We'll finish up this one more minute on the whale and pup, and move on to M64. How cold does it get here? In the wintertime we can get down into the teens. Our overnight lows will get down into the teens, so well below freezing. Nothing like being up in the Rockies, of course. I used to live in Colorado. Actually, used to live in Breckenridge, Colorado, so I know about living at altitude. And yeah, we don't get nearly that cold, but we do get summer heat. In fact, they're saying tomorrow's going to be 115 here, so now's when we kind of wish we were in an alpine valley up in the Rockies. Anyway, there's the whale and pup, so time to move on to the Black Eye Galaxy. SEA 64. Okay. View over there. Okay, M64. Let's play solid view to get you right on. And we're pretty much right there. So let's start the image on M64. .92 up there, huh? Yeah, it's going to be 115 here tomorrow. But, you know, that's the price I pay for having these great skies. It gets pretty warm. And it gets pretty breezy because we don't have really many trees out here at all, so the winds can get moving. But, hard to beat these skies. Alright. So, 64. Or the Black Eye Galaxy. It's about 17 million light years away, so again, not real far away. In galactic terms, pretty close to us actually. It was not discovered by William Herschel. Discovered by Edward Pigott in March of 1779, and independently by Johann Eilert Bode in April of 1779. As well as Charles Messier the next year, which is how he put it on in his object as a 64th object, in his list as a 64th object. Dark band of absorbing dust partially in front of its bright nucleus gave rise to its name of the Black Eye, Evil Eye, or Sleeping Beauty Galaxy. So you can see sort of that black eye right there. So let this get some subs. How cold does the summer desert get? Well, we have nights that don't drop much below 80, actually, on our hottest summer nights. But usually we're dropping down into the low 70s anyway. I think last night was like 71, 72, something like that. The warmer nights will only drop to about 80. We'll usually be at triple digits till about midnight, and then it'll start dropping. We had a little bit of a cool off for today. Today was actually gorgeous. I go for an early morning bike ride, because out here at these temperatures, if you're going to do anything outside, you do it in the mornings. Early mornings, and so my early morning bike ride was really nice this morning. It was cool. There were spots that were almost chilly in the valley, so that was pretty nice. Yeah, our warmer nights will only get down to about 80 or so. Yeah, it's not a lot of necessarily relief, but we don't have very much humidity typically either, so well, quite frankly, our 110 is more comfortable than where I grew up in northern New England when it's 80, which is just muggy and miserable. I will take 110 here over 80 back there any day because of the much lower humidity. Makes it, gives you a relative heat index of much less. So it's not bad. The only time it gets kind of nasty is actually later in the summer when we start getting some monsoonal moisture. Because at the beginning of the summer, when we're getting these high temperatures, we're still well down at a single-digit humidity. It's very dry, and so that's a lot more comfortable, and our evaporative coolers work really well. Later in the summer, when the humidity starts coming up a bit, we'll get to 12 and 15% and even more, which to most folks doesn't sound like hardly anything, but when you go from 4% humidity to 15% humidity, suddenly your evaporative coolers don't work nearly as well, and it makes a big difference. So, we stay pretty comfortable most of the time, even with the elevated heat, because of the dryness. But later in the summer, it'll get a little sticky, and that's kind of when it's like taking our vacations, getting the heck out of Dodge because it's cooler elsewhere. Let's see what else we have to say about pretty tightly wound spiral arms. See some of this stuff out here. When you look at Hubble images of it, some really high resolution images, there's faint spirals in some of these arms out here. You can sort of see spirals in here right now, but even the stuff out here has spirals in it. And we could pull those out if we spent, an hour on it, but we got too many objects to look at to spend that much time on any individual object, so. Looks like it's about 54,000 light years across, so about half the size of our Milky Way. Yeah, Joshua Tree is not too far south of me. They get a lot of the same weather, but there, Joshua Tree in Wonder Valley is actually significantly higher altitude. I think it's at least 3,000 feet there, 3,500 feet. Joshua Valley and 29 Palms, etc. Yucca Valley, that's all high altitude. We're only at about 12 or 1,300 feet here, so we don't quite get as much cool off. You probably get a lot better cool off at night than we do here. So a bit more of a temperature swing and a bit drier. But it's also a bit further south, so a little bit more sun. Zoom in a little here before the risk of it getting a little grainy, but you can really start to see some of the swirly spirals in here. That's about right. All right. Messier 64 or the Black Eye Galaxy. All right, moving on. It's Caldwell 29. Probably don't need a plate solve. I think we're probably close enough. Inclined spiral galaxy. This one was discovered by William Herschel. Our good old buddy William. Come on, breeze. Give it up. This one is about 45 million light years away. Darn, it was off by that much, huh? Shoot. Okay, well, we're going to have to plate solve it in. It's quite a bit of an off for such a short slew. Oh well. Start again. Actually, with respect to the distance measurements vary from 45 million to 110 million. So the average is about 65 million. And they can't seem to pin it down, I guess, any better than that. Okay. Contains a low ionization nuclear emission region or liner nucleus. There's another physical galaxy pair here with 5033. 5033. Okay, that's the one we probably the first one we. It's probably 5033 here. Yeah, the water bug. Again, we can't get it in the one view. Definitely more character in this, though. You can see the spirals already on the first sub. But these two form a galaxy pair, so these two are kind of hooked up. Don't seem to be doing a lot of pulling each other out of shape. But they seem to be, I guess, weakly interacting. Ooh, the breeze just stopped. That's pretty nice. And now I've also got bugs flying around me. But if it isn't one thing, it's another. The breeze does keep the bugs down, which is always nice. Those swirling spirals are starting to look pretty nice. at the Fabergé egg galaxy. Here's 10 minutes. On Caldwell 29. Okay. Let's go to the Fabergé egg next. All of you in there. Well, it's interesting, the breeze has changed directions. It's now in my face as opposed to at my back, but earlier. Okay, 4605, Fabergé egg. It's another dwarf, a dwarf barred spiral. Looks like it's about 18 million light years away, so kind of one of our local folks. It's similar in size to the Large Magellanic Cloud, and is a possible member of either the M81 galaxy group or the M101 group. A dwarf, a barred spiral galaxy. It's a little guy, no doubt. It's a little guy. Since I'm going to split this over 2 nights, I probably should keep track of which ones I've done. Well, Caldwell 29 we did. Remove. And M64 we did. Remove. The Fabergé egg we're doing now, so we can remove. Which was that's the other one we did. 4228. No, we did. Okay, those 4 we have done. Those are the 4 we have done, right? 28, Caldwell 30, M64. There should be a total of 5. Caldwell 29, Caldwell 32. The whale. Yeah. Forgot the whale and pup. Doink. Edit list. Remove. Save. Bye-bye. Okay. So when we come back next time, we'll know which ones are left for sure. Definitely a small little galaxy. I'm going to see some wispiness coming off of here. The outskirts. Okay, so I think I was muted through that whole thing and you didn't hear anything I said. Anyway, there's a couple of, I can actually see a couple of the southern targets that Roll actually put northern targets and southern targets. He put 5 southern targets, and I can actually see 2 of the 5. Trifid, obviously here. And then Helix, I can also see that too. But right now it's below the horizon until morning, early morning. For us here in the southern part, it's parts of the U.S., this is a fall object. And so I can get it, but just not... Right now it's an early morning object. It's not a... an evening object. So... Alright, anyway, 5529 will be next. So there is that one. Next target. We're going to go to 5529. Alright. 5529. And our Galaxy Quest. Noel's list being mostly galaxies because it is still galaxy season. Lots of galaxies high in the sky this time of year. March through June or so, even early July. Lots of galaxies. So basically these red things are galaxies, and there's a lot more than this here. I've just got my display settings set to only show the biggest and brightest. But in the spring and the early summer, there's just tons of galaxies that are up high above us. That right up high in the sky, so it's called galaxy season. Alright, let's see how this came out. The guiding went a little wonky on this one. We have satellite that went right through it too. It's a nice edge-on spiral. But we're probably going to have to kill that sub. Because this satellite went right through us. Anyway, this is 5529. Edge-on intermediate spiral galaxy. Okay, let's delete this sub with the satellite trail in it. Get us a whole new one. There, that's the rest of the satellite exiting the picture, which is fine. What are we doing here? We're a little bit clipped, so let's take it out. Like that a little bit. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, we got that. Very good. It's an edge-on intermediate spiral. It's located about 145 million light years away. Discovered by our old friend William Herschel. So this is a bit further away, 145 million light years. Got a little companion galaxy there. And there's another little smudge up there too. Wonder if the, yeah. Well, there's all kinds of galaxies in this picture, huh? There's a few. Hey, good evening, Mike. Welcome to the show. Already done several objects, but showed up for a good one. This is a nice little edge on spiral here. This one is 5529. And it's got companion galaxies there. I think this is actually one here as well. But it's too small and weak for the catalog that I have loaded in my annotation, so. Kofa AZ, huh? I don't know about what it's supposed to be like down in Arizona, but it's supposed to be 115 here tomorrow, so kind of warm. Well, I hope your AC is up to snuff. It's going to be toasty. What is your altitude there? If it's higher altitude, you might be okay. Might not be so hot. We're only about 12 or 1300 feet here, so we're going to be 115. I imagine it's going to be 120 plus down in the Phoenix, Tucson area. Got a nice dust laying around the outer edge that's bisecting the core here almost perfectly. A little bit off center, but bisecting it pretty close to even. Starting to be able to see these companion galaxies a little better. Still think this is another one here. That's possibly even one right there. But the annotation, those are not going to show up in the annotation because, well, I guess this one actually did, huh? It's mag 17.7. My catalog only goes down to mag 18. Go down anyway. That's, even at that, it's almost 800,000 objects in this catalog. Go down any more than that, the numbers start getting silly. So I can only go down to mag 18, but this one is there. There's definitely one there. And there. And I'll bet you this is one as well, but it's too faint for my catalog. All right, since doing this one, 5529, is that what I want, right? Yeah, 5529, which is DISA 1, edit list, remove object. Okay, remove object. Very good. So now, I guess we'll do 5676 next. Yep, 5676 will be next. Very good. Alright, there's 10 minutes on 5529. Cool looking galaxy. Nice one, roll. Okay. And now we go to 5676. Okay, 5676. See how far away this guy is. Come on. 5676. An unbarred spiral. It's notably asymmetric. The spiral arms on the south side of the galaxy are chaotic, whereas the spiral arms on the north side are very well defined. Okay. Also, the spiral arms on the south side extend twice as far from the galaxy's nucleus as the spirals on the north. Because of the fragmentary appearance of some of the spiral arms, the galaxy is classified as a flocculent galaxy. Okay, well, there it is, another little guy. You can see there's a lot more sticking off this side than the other side. Well, we will see. The previous target was NGC 5529. This one is 5676. So that's the one we just finished. This is the one we're on now. And 5752 will be what we're heading for next. So 5676. What we're on now. Remove. You're welcome, sir. While this is building, I'm going to go top up my water because I'm out. So I'll be back in a minute. Looks like it's coming along. Yeah, you can definitely see one side a lot more extended than the other. Asymmetrical indeed. Wonder if it's had an interaction with another galaxy or something. Okay, there's 10 minutes on that little guy. Let's go to the next one. 5752. $57.52. Okay, this is ARP 297, which is 4 galaxies. This could be interesting. It looks like Stellarium has no imagery at all. Okay. $57.52. Remove. In fact, I think we can update this now to save, clear, highlight, edit, close, and all those are gone. So now we're on to these. quite a list you got here, Roll. Some nice stuff. Oh yeah, look at that. It's sort of like an extremely mini version of M51, the Whirlpool Galaxy. Two little galaxies here. Well, actually, these may not be actually interacting now that I think about it. Oh no, it says they're interacting. Okay, well, we'll see. So we got one here, one here, here. Somewhere there's a fourth. Well, we'll find it. Alright, we'll let it build a few subs and see if we can find all four. Good evening, Gary. How have you been, sir? I am well. Still chugging along here in the desert. Getting kind of warm right now, though. It's going to be 115 tomorrow, so getting a little bit toasty. You still doing your photometry? Oh, bad weather. Yeah, that's true. Usually we're getting strong onshore, which is good for us here because we get some nice dry, warm weather. But you get a lot of marine layer, so probably not so good for you. May, gray, and June gloom, huh? Well, I wonder what happens later in the summer when we start getting our monsoonal moisture here. That's when it gets yucky here. Does that improve things for you? I can't imagine that it would. But right now it's been pretty nice here. Warm, but dry. So, which is pretty comfortable. It means our swamp coolers work really well and keep us pretty comfortable. Well, I don't know what EV lac means or EV lav. I'm not sure what any of that means. You'll have to tell me. So I think this is the fourth of the four objects. This must be it here. That's what I'm thinking. Yep, all three NGC objects. Well, actually, this one is part of here, but they're so close together, the annotation isn't picking them apart. Hey, Dean. Welcome to the show. flares. Cool. Photometry, something I don't know anything about. And I certainly don't know what an M3 class star is, but I think you explained it below. Lots of stellar flares. I know an M3 is a pretty cool car, but don't know nothing about what M3 means for a star. Long-term photometry. So, Dean, we are doing ARP-297 right now, 4 interacting galaxies. Right in here. Yep. And you see 57, 52, 53, 54, and 55. Red Dwarf. The Red Dwarf group. I liked that show. That was a pretty cool show, wasn't it? The Red Dwarf group. I guess that's not related to the show, though, probably, huh? Hey, Ollie, how are you doing tonight? You know, Ollie, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I never get any notifications from YouTube whenever any of my subscribed channels have a new video, or a new live stream, or a new anything. I never get it, and I've gone through all the settings with a fine-tooth comb. Can't figure it out. I get other emails, like when I post my own video, I get emails from YouTube saying that I've got a thing on, and you know, after it's done it says you've got a video ready, etc., etc. So I do get emails from YouTube, but I never get any notifications that a subscribed channel has something going on, ever. And I've never been able to figure it out. So, I don't know. I think YouTube has got some issues. I don't know, I just assumed it was something with my YouTube account, but you guys having the same issue, maybe it's a more widespread problem. Anyway, so there is our ARP-297. 4 interacting galaxies. Cool, cool. What's next? M102? I think M102, the Spindle Galaxy. Okay. Spindle. Go from some tiny little faint objects to a relatively big bright one. Messier 102. Yeah, that was pretty cool that you showed up, Ollie. It's nice to meet somebody from my audience, because I normally would never get to do that. Dean would have to drive quite a ways to be able to meet me, so he has a pass. Hi, James, Scott, and Allie. Good evening, guys. Glad you tuned in. Just in time for the Spindle Galaxy. Yeah, you do get some clouds. When you're not getting clouds, you're getting lake effect stuff. So Michigan is an interesting place to live. Well, I appreciate you stopping in, Ollie. It's nice to see you again. Have fun at work tomorrow. Of course, I always have an early wake-up call here because when it's 115 during the daytime, you're going to get anything done, it's going to be early morning. So I'm usually up by 6 or so myself anyway, regardless of how late I go to bed. Because in the summertime, that's what we have to do here. But in the summertime, we also have siestas, so those are really nice in the afternoon. Alright, I'm dropping the ball a little bit here. 5866, let's see what we know about this thing. The Spindle Galaxy. 5866. This is a lenticular galaxy, the constellation Draco. Discovered by Pierre Marchand or Charles Messier in 1781, and independently found by our old buddy William Herschel in 1788. One of the most outstanding features of 5866 is the extended dust disk, which is seen almost exactly edge-on. Dust lane is highly unusual for a lenticular galaxy. The dust in most lenticulars is usually found at the core. So, and a lenticular galaxy, by the way, is kind of somewhere between an elliptical and a spiral galaxy. So it's not really an elliptical, which is just sort of a round blob, but it hasn't really formed a spiral yet either. So it's sort of halfway between. And what we may or may not be able to see is there's a little tiny needle of a dust lane right in here. So it's going to take some more stacks to find to see if we can see that, but it should be in there. Hopefully we'll be able to see it in a while. Give it a little more time. Yeah, Bakersfield. Yeah, you get just about as warm as we do, but you get the humidity too. Central Valley used to be fairly dry, but boy, with all the agriculture, it's not now. You guys get the heat and the muggy. Yuck. I don't think the 183 replaced the 294. They're both old sensors. They're both the venerable old farts of the sensor world. I don't think the 183 replaced the 294. They're just very different sensors. The 294 has much bigger pixels, and so is much better suited for long focal length than the 183, which is at the other end of the spectrum. Tiny pixels, which is great for short focal length, which is why I'm having to bin my sensor. So I'm at bin 2 with this with my 183, which basically puts me at about the same pixel size as a 294 native. So they're both older sensors. They're both none of they're way before the no amp glow stuff. So they're both tricky and quirky, but they both put up really good images, and they're still very much in use today because they're still venerable, good performing sensors, even though they are getting a bit dated. I'd really like them to come out with a no amp glow version of them, but you have your from the OC. Yeah, well, the OC gets more humidity, but it's not as hot either because you get some of the marine layer, so trade off one for the other. Warmer but more humid, or cooler but more humid because of the marine layer. And I agree with you, Ollie. Your statement there that crazy to think that in one little blob there are trillions of planets. Totally true. Every one of these galaxies has hundreds of millions of stars, maybe even hundreds of billions of stars. I think they're estimating the Milky Way now has about 400 billion stars. So it's a lot. There's just so much out there. And it's just so much distance between everything that who knows when we'll run into each other. But there's got to be a lot more life out there. A lot more. I'll take 110 at Bakersfield over 90 in Anaheim. That's what I was just saying before too, Ollie. It's like I'm from northern New England, and I'll take 115 here over 80 there. Because when it's 80 there, it's 85% humidity, and it's just miserable. 115 here is hot, but it's dry, and it's just plain way more comfortable, so I like it here. You'll take a Michigan winter? Yeah, you can have it, buddy. I'm not gonna... I had enough New Hampshire winters. I don't need that stuff. Done with it. Happy to live in a 3-season state. 294 was great for me. Fried using a long USB extension. Now I use a 224. Well, that's quite a change. 224 is quite a sensor difference from a 294. Heck, a 224 was the first real astro camera I ever bought. I moved from a Revolution imager, started playing with that, and that was my first real EAA experience, and man, I fell in love with it immediately. So I eventually went and bought my first real astronomy sensor, which was the ASI 224. Great little sensor. Small, tiny even by today's standards, but another venerable little sensor that has since been replaced by, well, the 385 was the bigger version of it, but they've all since been replaced by the 533 and 2600, which are same pixel size, but now the no amp glow technology. So, great little sensor though. 890s and humidity. Yeah. I hate 80s and humidity. So, I'm happy where I am here. You know, we're going to be 115 tomorrow, but, you know, it's probably going to be 4 or 5% humidity. So, I'll take that. Love the 224 better than the 662 for lunar imaging. Okay. That works. Yeah, the 533 and the 585. Those are both really good cameras. New and no amp glow sensor technology. They're good stuff. Well, I don't know that we ever actually resolved. I don't think we resolved that dust lane. I think it's a fail in the dust lane. Even at 1200 millimeters of focal length, I mean, you can sort of see maybe a little of it in there, but I think it's mostly you have to use averted imagination to see it. But thanks, Ollie. See you next time. Alright, Spindle Galaxy done. Did I take that one out? Yeah, I need to take that one out, don't I? Yeah, I do. Because we did that. M102 Spindle. Done. Okay, next it's going to be 5906, right? Yep. 5906. The Splinter Galaxy. Okay. Hold on, you know what? Let me try unstretching this a little. Let me get a little less aggressive on the stretch before we leave this. See if we can pick that out. By going a little bit, we'll lose the outer stuff. But maybe we'll see a little of that. Maybe we'll see a little of it. Yeah, see, we get just a trace of it. Get just a trace of that tiny little dust lane. In the high resolution images from the Hubble and whatnot, it's a very sharp sort of thing. I don't quite have the resolution to do it. I'd need to be at a higher focal length to really see it. But anyway, it's there. But time to move on. I'm probably only going to do one or two more objects. Call it a night. We'll save the rest of this list for... I don't even know if I've gotten through half this list. Man, it's a big list. Okay. Splinter. I like this one. This is a good one. Okay, let's plate solve on that. Yeah, it's pretty close. As it should be. And go. Yeah, it is 11:30, and I know I'm going to be up by 6, so I know I'm going to be up early anyway. Can't help it this time of the year. I got east-facing windows in my house, so my house is just ablaze by 6 a.m. And yes, I could get blackout curtains and stuff, but like I said, here in the desert, if you're going to do anything, you got to do it early morning. So I'm happy to have the sun wake me up. But it means I don't get to sleep in very much at all. Oh, the girls are traveling? Are you batching it right now or what? Alright, Splinter Galaxy coming up. Ooh, look at that. Okay, we have to re-stretch this because it's a way bit too dark. There we go. That's better. Oh man, how come you're not up here seeing some dark skies? Now's your time to get away. My focal length right now is 1200 millimeters at f6. So here, there's me set up. So it's a C8 with the f6.3 reducer on the back, and I've got a small 20 millimeter extension off the back of that. So that puts it right about at f6 exactly. I'm right about 1200 millimeters of focal length. In fact, blade solve only. SharpCap will tell me. Focal length, the calculated focal length is 1211 millimeters, so it's right about exactly at f6. 40 animals at the home location. What does that mean? 40 animals? You guys have that many pets? I know Joy had what'd she have? A furry something? A rabbit or a ferret or something she had when you guys were up here in Pahrump. Seems to me she brought something with her. Maybe I'm just making that up. It was a while ago. Oh, our color balance here. That looks too blue. Yeah, I mean, I really love my C8. And Gary, in fact, has one too. I think you still have your C8, don't you, Gary? Are you still using that? C8s are incredible. The SCT in general is incredible. Jack of all trades, master of none. The thing is just, you go everywhere from F19 to F25. They're just incredibly versatile. And I really love mine. I just got it a few months ago, 6 months ago. Got a Hyperstar for it on the used market. Got the f6.3 reducer that I already had. I already had a Japan version of the f6.3 reducer that I bought sometime earlier, which supposedly is only good for about a 1/3-inch sensor. But you know, my 1-inch sensor 183, I never have any star problems, even at the corners. So I'm very happy with the 6.3 reducer. I guess the Japan ones really are better than the Chinese made ones, but so I love being able to use it at both. I can use it at 1200 f6, or I can use it at f19 with the Hyperstar. And man, does that really make some great images. I can't believe how good that thing does. It does far better than I even hoped in the dark skies. So I really love it. XLT 102. Yeah, I really love my 6.3 reducer. It performs far better than people say it should. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not getting pinpoint stars, of course, but I don't have any issues with this thing. Even with a 1-inch sensor, at the corners, I don't get any real issues. Maybe a slight bit of coma, but it's very, very small. So I've been very happy with it. I had a 3.3 reducer at one point, a Japan-made 3.3 reducer that I sold before I ever even got the C8. So I haven't tried that, but I haven't got one of those. but I just kind of see it as, I don't know, redundant. You know, with the 6.3 reducer, I'm at 1200. With the Hyperstar, I'm at 400. I don't know. Between the two of them, I can pretty much get everything I want to get. So I don't know that being at 600 or 700 millimeters of focal length really buys me much. If I want that, actually, I can just use my 6-inch imaging newt, which native is at 600. So, but I just, yeah, I've been very impressed with the C8 and how well it does. .3 reducer is horrible. Yeah, I've heard different people with different experiences about that. I guess there's a lot of vignetting and a lot of whatnot with it, so I don't know. Which is why everybody wants the friggin' Night Owl to come back out. And Starizona continues to only promise it and not produce it. So they've probably got 300 of them on back order as it is. So who knows if that'll ever come to really come to fruition. Yeah, the 3.3 and 6.3 reducers were designed like 40 years ago when, you know, half-inch sensors were monster sensors. So they really didn't envision being used on the massive 1-inch sensors we have now, and forget about APS-C in full frame. I mean, they were not designed for the cameras we have today. Thankfully, Starizona has, well, some options in the Hyperstar and the Night Owl if they ever come back out with it. Would they sell 100 of the things originally in the original version that are floating around out there or something? A couple hundred? And then they promised a new version and have never produced it. So 6.3 reducer works okay with the 5.33. Yeah, it's the 5.33 is about the same size as my 183, but it's just the 5.33 is square, and my 183 is, you know, landscape format. But they're both 1-inch sensors, and yeah, 1-inch sensors seem to, with good, the Japanese 6.3 reducers, it seems to produce a really good image. So I've been real happy with mine this Galaxy season. But soon here, I will be switching back to the Hyperstar, and because that summer Milky Way is getting higher and higher in the sky, and there's a lot of pretty stuff to see in that. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled program. We've got the Splinter Galaxy. C102 I already did. The Splinter 5906. Splinter. Remove. Save that. Yeah, see, I don't know. Have we got halfway through the halfway through the list? I don't know that we have. But this is a very cool galaxy. Lots of texture on it. What's next? Yeah, 5985, I guess. Wind has just died completely. It's a really nice calm night. Perfect, clear, good transparency because there's hardly any humidity, so kind of nice. Hard to quit, but it's going to be an early morning for me. Alright, 5985. couple of fairly large galaxies. This is probably going to be pretty small again. $59.85. You know who discovered it in 1788? Our old buddy William Herschel. Other than that, not much to say about it. It's going to be a little guy. And I think it'll probably be my last object for tonight. And we will do the rest in part 2. 59.85 there. Edit. Remove. Save. Yeah, that looks like a pretty good list for next time. I think we can do that next time. Okay. Oop, there we are. It's not too tiny. Boy, this nice elliptical galaxy up here. Alright. See how this goes. Sure, Gary. I'd love to do a Zoom again. Yeah, it's a lot of fun doing that stuff, and so yeah, I'd definitely be open to it. I enjoy doing these things. Oh, thanks, Dean. Splinter Galaxy is a nice one. Nice big fat galaxy. Almost like the Sculptor, but smaller. I love the Sculptor Galaxy. That's one of my favorites. Yeah, let me know, Gary, if you ever want to do a session together. We could Zoom up. What do we get? Yeah, well, I'm definitely open to it. I think the stuff is fun. Getting both of us with good weather might be a little challenge. You know, we're only about 300 miles between us, but you're under the marine layer and I'm not, which makes for a pretty big difference in weather patterns, so it might be interesting trying to do something on the same night. It certainly would. Yeah, I would be interested in it. We'd have to figure out how to get an audience, well, or not. Just do an EAA session. For that matter, we could do it on NSN too, and chat that way. But yeah, no, Zoom would be... I'm open to whatever. I don't really care. I just like doing the stuff, whether we have an audience or not, or it's just you and I. It would be fun. Yeah, shoot me an email. I think we have each other's emails. And I just read your animals list. I had no idea you had such a zoo at your place. Anyway, let's chat sometime and figure out when we would do that. It sounds like fun. I guess more technically an aviary than a zoo, but yeah, I had no idea you had that much going on for wildlife around the homestead. Let me pick up that stretch a little bit, even at the risk of being a little grainy, but nice little spirals that are certainly visible in this. Good night, Gary. See you next time. Yeah, and I think I want to call it a night anyhow. So we'll do this one and call it a night, and then part 2 will be the rest of these. So let me clear the highlights and bring back. So this will be our list next time. These guys here. So we've pared it down to these guys and M20, which is going to be down here. In fact, M20 is in almost the perfect spot to image right now, but I want to save that as a treat for next time. I have never done it at 1200 millimeters of focal length. I've always done it with the Hyperstar, which just makes it pop amazingly. Actually, you know what? I haven't done it with the Hyperstar. I just got the Hyperstar this winter, so I did it with the Newt at f3, and it's such a pretty object. So, but we'll save that for next time. That'll be our sort of our dessert after getting through the entree of these rest of this list, and we'll do that next time. We'll do that next time. We'll let this finish up and call it a night, and I'll schedule part 2 for sometime here in the near future. We're actually going to be doing a little bit of we got a hot day tomorrow, and then a little bit of a cool-off. And cool-offs out here usually mean wind. So it's looking like a pretty windy next few days. Possibly Sunday is looking decent. So anyway, part 2 will be sometime soon. I will post up to the same folks, and I'll post it in the forums and whatever when I'm going to be doing the next segment, next installment. But it's just turned into a perfectly gorgeous night. Hard to quit when the weather's like this, but I know I'm not going to be short on sleep if I don't. And that's not a good thing. But I want to thank everybody for being here, especially for those folks who chatted me up while you were here. That's very nice. Always nice having an interactive audience rather than me just being blah 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 and talking to myself. So thanks for being here. And for those of you who are watching this afterwards, just watching the video long after I'm done, and you've gotten this far, thanks for sticking it out. And we'll do part 2 here soon. Out here, mid-90s here next few days, yeah. Mid-90s. That's gorgeous out here, but not in your neck of the woods. I feel for you, brother. Take it easy. Alright, there's 10 minutes, so I'm going to call it. Nice little companion pair of galaxies. I wonder if these two are together. 5982, 5985. I wonder if they are a pair, maybe. In any event, I'm going to call it a night, so thanks everybody for being here, and I will see you next time. Good night all.